You cannot manage time. You can only manage yourself. Look, I am doing my best to help people. I can't help you if you don't help yourself. And I keep hearing over and over and over again, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. But then you complain about not being successful or not getting the things done that you want to accomplish. And I don't script. Like, I just speak from the heart. And, you know, all the people out there will say, oh, well, you have to have a hook and you have to reel them in and you have to speak with this and you have to do it in this order. I just speak from the heart based on what I know and what I've experienced and what I've seen and what I've done myself. And so I don't know if this video will help you. I hope it will help you. I'm not doing it in any order or structure. I'm just speaking from the heart and speaking on what I know. But I've had so many people, well, constantly, but mainly in the last few weeks saying, well, I don't have time to read that book, or I don't have time to study that course, or I don't have time to work on my business because of my job or my kids or my coworker or the weather. And I get it. I used to be there. I wasn't saying I would use my kids as an excuse, but they were major distractions. Kids are distractions. So it's like you work all day on your job if you have a 9 to 5, and then you get home and then you have to deal with the spouse or the kids, and then you're exhausted and you don't want to work on your business. I understand. I do. If it's something you really want, though, you will make time for it. And I just wasn't disciplined enough to make the time to work in what I wanted to do, whether it was work out, work on my business, whatever, learn something new. I wasn't disciplined enough to schedule that time in to make sure I got those things accomplished. So, and I'm big on no excuses. Like, yes, we have challenges, we have obstacles, we have distractions. If you really want something, you can make the time for it. Just like a relationship too. Like, if someone says they're too busy to call you, or they're too busy to text you or see you, like, people make time for what they want to make time for. So there's enough hours in the day. It's just how many hours are you spending on scrolling or watching TV versus working on the other things that you want to accomplish. So today, bringing back Old Faithful, No Excuses, Brian Tracy, The Power of Self-Discipline. And I'm just going to go over my highlighted sections that I'm talking about because I can't read the whole book. If you want to read these, which I suggest you do because this book is awesome, Brian Tracy, No Excuses. And I want to talk about the self-discipline and time management chapter. I'm just going to read my highlights and then you could do with it as you will. I know from experience, like, if you really want to do something, you just have to schedule time management. And you're not going to be successful in your business or life or exercising or whatever the case may be if you keep making excuses or why you can't do something or how hard it is. Like, everything's hard at first because you don't know it, but if you keep going, and anybody that knows me knows that I'm just honest and I'm always coming from a good place. So, but sometimes I have to just give tough love to people that need it. So anyway, self-discipline and time management. If you do not conquer self, you will be conquered by self. Napoleon Hill. There is perhaps no area of your life in which self-discipline is more important than in the way you manage your time. You cannot manage time. You can only manage yourself. You can't save time. The fact is that you cannot save time. You can only spend it differently. You can only reallocate your time usage from areas of low value to areas of high value. Like scrolling through social media just for giggles, that's low value. But scrolling through social media to learn something, that's high value. Time management is the ability to choose the sequence of events. By exerting your self-discipline with regard to time, you can choose what to do first, second, and not at all, and you always are free to choose. You have a choice. I say this all the time. The Pareto principle, which I've mentioned before, the 80-20 rule says that 20% of the things you do account for 80% of the value of what you accomplish. This means that 80% of what you do is worth 20% or less of the value of what you accomplish. You always pay attention to and spend time on what you most value, whether it is your family, your health, your social or sports activities, or your money and career. It is only by looking at how you spend your time that you and everyone else know what is really important to you. And again, like me, I've had so many things I've had to juggle at one time, and there was no way I can get it done. Putting it on my calendar and making sure, if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. That's how things fall through the cracks and they become forgotten. Only your actions tell you and others what you truly value. You must consciously and deliberately select the most valuable and important thing that you could be doing at any given time, and then discipline yourself to work solely on that task. Solely. That means that's the only thing you're working on. You're not multitasking, because multitasking is not real. It's a myth and it's a lie, because once you stop working on something that you're doing, it's going to take you 15 to 25 minutes to get back focused on and in the momentum that you were having before you got interrupted or distracted. So keep that in mind. Companies deploy financial assets, but your most vital assets are your mental, emotional, and physical energies. How you invest them determines your entire quality of life. Just as you would be careful about investing your money so as to ensure that you get the highest rate of return, you must be equally careful when you invest your time. Time is the one thing we can't get back. You can get back money if you lose it, but if you lose time, it's gone forever. Think before you act. Before you commit to any time-consuming activity, you must always ask, is this the very best use of my time? And I get it. Some of us have trouble saying no. But, and, we don't say buts. No buts, no buts. And if you say but, that means what you said prior to that is irrelevant. So no buts, and I could cut that out, but I'm not going to, because it's important. A lot of us have a hard time saying no, and I know it's challenging, and it's going to take time, especially if you're used to saying yes all the time, because that used to be me. I used to be a yes girl. Yes. Because I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I want everybody to like me. Now I'm like, no. Okay. It's so easy to say no now. And it took work for me to get to that point. I had to focus on what was important to me. And that wasn't always what was important to other people. Other people were only focused on what was important to them. And when I realized that was hurting me and my goals, I had to stop and I had to learn to say no. And that's another story for another day. I have another book about that. So, priorities versus posteriorities. Setting priorities requires setting posteriorities as well. A priority is something that you do more of and sooner, whereas a posteriority is something you do less of or later. Getting into something new requires getting out of another activity. Before you commit to a new undertaking, ask yourself, what am I going to stop doing so that I have enough time to work on this new task? You must discontinue an old task. Go through your life regularly and practice creative abandonment. Consciously determine the activities that you are going to discontinue so that you have more time to spend on those tasks that can really make a difference to your future. Like, especially with everything going on in the world now, it's like everything is so uncertain. Like, jobs are getting lost left and right. Now is the time for you to really focus on what you actually want to accomplish for your future goal and your family's future. Now, stop procrastinating. Identify the consequences. Something is important to the degree that it has serious potential consequences for completion or non-completion. A task or activity is unimportant to the degree that it does not matter if it is done or not. For example, completing a course of study at the university can have enormous consequences that can impact your life for the next 50 years. Completing a major task or project at work or making an important sale can have significant consequences for your job and your income. On the other hand, drinking coffee, chatting with coworkers, reading the newspaper, surfing the internet, or checking emails may be enjoyable, but these activities have few or no consequences. I know I said but it's written in the book. In other words, whether you do them or not makes little to no difference to your work or your life. However, it is precisely on these activities that most people spend most of their time. Do you have the app? Everybody has it on their phone now that tracks your time based on the apps you're on. Find that setting. Put that setting on your phone, turn it on, and then look at it at the end of the day. And it'll show you how much time you spent on each app. Social media, email, Netflix, whatever the games, whatever the case may be. Use that and really look at that and see how much time you're spending and where you're spending the time. Managing your time. Before you begin each day, start by making a list of everything you have to do that day. I do it the night before. The best time to make the list is the evening before. At the end of the workday. So that your subconscious mind can work on your list of activities while you sleep. You will often wake up with ideas and insights for how to more effectively complete the task of the day. Then apply the ABCDE method to your list. A, must do, serious consequences for non-completion. B, should do, mild consequences for doing or not doing. C, nice to do, no consequences whether you do it or not. D, delegate, everything you possibly can to free up more time for those things that only you can do. E, eliminate, discontinue all tasks and activities that are no longer essential to your work and to achieving your goals. Review your list of activities for the coming day and write an A, B, C, D, or E next to each task before you start. If you have several A tasks, rank them by importance by writing A1, A2, A3, and so on. Do this with your B and C task as well. The rule is that you should never do a B task when you have an A task left undone. You should never do a lower value task when you have a higher value task before you. Once you have organized your list using this system, discipline yourself, to start on your A1 task first thing in the morning before you do anything else. I mean, that's also called eating the frog. Like, get your first task out, just get it done, get it over with, eat the frog fast. That's a book as well. I am finding the most problems that business owners have, either they're not taking the time to do the task, or if they have someone working with them, they're not delegating the unimportant things that don't require them. That is a major challenge. I understand, because nobody can do it as good as you can. I get that. However, you're not even giving them the opportunity to use their gifts. If you hired them for a reason, so if they're gifted enough and you hire them to do that task, allow them to do that task. And yes, you're going to have oversight over them, but you have to manage your task. If you're so focused on the task that they're doing, your tasks are not getting accomplished. It's not happening. So delegating is a hard task. Of the ABCD, delegate is probably the most challenging. I understand. And that's going to take time and practice. And you're going to have to find that person that you train and then are able to take over those tasks without so much supervision. Practice single handling. Once you have begun work on your most important task, you must discipline yourself to concentrate single-mindedly with 100% of your time and attention until that task is complete. Focus on one thing, another book. If you chase two rabbits, you will catch neither one. So you have to focus on one thing at a time. Whether it's for 30 minutes, an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours, one day. Set a time limit just to focus on that one thing. Oh my goodness. And you'll be so surprised at how much you get accomplished for that task, just focusing on it and nothing else. 1,000% return on investment. The ABCDE method seldom takes more than about 10 minutes to organize your entire day, but you will save 10 minutes in execution for every minute that you invest in this way of planning before you begin. This means that you will get 1,000% return on energy from the act of planning thoroughly, and setting clear priorities before you start on your first task. Don't look at your phone. Don't answer any messages. Don't answer any calls. Don't do any. This has to be your first task that you get done first, because those things are not a task. Especially if you're a business owner. There are really no emergencies in most of these businesses. If you're not a doctor on call or a nurse or EMT, there's no emergencies in business. So it can wait. It can wait. I know you're going to have fires to put out every single day, but you're not a fireman. It's not an emergency. When you discipline yourself to push against your natural resistance to get started on your most important task, you get an endorphin rush. You experience this as a sense of elation, exhilaration, happiness, and high self-esteem. By completing a major task, you feel exactly like an athlete who has crossed the finish line first. You feel like a winner. Keep yourself focused. The law of forced efficiency says there is never enough time to do everything, but there is always enough time to do the most important things. Love that. I love that. So, action exercises. Again, I didn't go through the whole chapter, but here are some action exercises to help you. But you have to do them. You have to execute. Make a decision today to become absolutely excellent at time management. Work at it until it becomes a habit. Before you begin, and you have to protect that time. People are going to try to infiltrate your time, and you're going to have to protect it. Before you begin each day, make a list of everything you have to do that day. As new tasks arise, write them down before you act on them. Organize your work list by prioritizing by using the ABCDE method over and over until it becomes a habit, which, again, depending on what book you read or who you talk to, that can take 21 days, 30 days, 66 days, 90 days. Just start. Identify your A1 task each day and resolve to work single-mindedly on that task until it is totally complete. And again, I'm not perfect either. This is a constant everyday practice that you have to work on because something's going to come and distract you. You have to stay focused and disciplined. Identify the one task that only you can do and that if you do it well, can make a real difference. What's going to move the needle forward the most? The needle in your life, your health, your business. What is going to help you move forward? Not stay still. Determine the 20% of your tasks that can account for 80% of your results, and then discipline yourself to work on them most of the time. Every minute of every day, ask yourself, what is the most valuable use of my time right now? And then discipline yourself to work on only that task until it is complete. Again, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. Focus on that. Discipline yourself to work only on that until it's complete. And again, I'm just speaking from the heart, and I want everybody to succeed. I truly do. And taking notes for myself, I also have, it's a consistency and discipline problem. One of my other videos, I'm talking about changing yourself and changing your situations in your environment. And the reality of it is, it all comes down to discipline and consistency. And you have to stay focused on whatever task you're working on at the time. No more excuses. I'm not saying I don't have time for this or I don't have time for that. You make time for what you want to make time for if you want to reach your goals and accomplish them. And again, this is tough love. I love you guys. I want everyone to succeed. So I hope you found this helpful. Again, get this book or any other book. It really doesn't matter. I want everybody to succeed. I hope this was helpful. And if you found it helpful, please share this with someone else who might find it helpful. Like the video, comment below. I look forward to hearing from you guys. And until next time, please take care of yourself first. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.